This is Rollerball Rocco and Kung Fu, and this is from the very first show of 12 that went out on Screen Sport in 1985. John writes, this aired on Screen Sport, where they didn't have any of the restrictions on wrestling on ITV, and this match takes full advantage by doing absolutely everything that ITV banned. Petey, I mean, this is just it, innit? This is the shit.
It's just, I've not seen Rocco for a little while wrestle, and good God, I forget how goddamn intense he is all of the time. God. It's like he's having every match is his last match.
Yeah, and the other thing about like Rocco is, let's think about the time this is at. If this match had been on like WrestleMania 1, you'd be like, oh yeah, there was one good match on WrestleMania 1. It was Rollerball Rocco taking on Kung Fu.
but they want like nowadays, there's no matches like this.
Yeah,
there's no.
That's true.
Like WrestleMania is just entrance, bit of pissing about in the ring, then out, and there's no intensity to it half the time.
To just turn up and just go, let's go at 100 miles an hour, and we'll do it. We don't need to go for 25. Let's go for 10, but really pack a lot into it. I mean, you cannot ask for more of that.
No.
You hear on the commentary, this is the second match in a knockout tournament. The first was a match between the Scottish wrestler Chick Cullen and a beautiful Bobby Barnes, a very flamboyant former tag team partner of Adrian Street. And the commentators, they mentioned that Chick Cullen's mother is reading the programme during the Rocco match. She's taking no interest in this at all, they say.
And I can't believe it. Looking outside the ring at Chick Cullen's mother, she's actually reading the programme notes now. She's taking no interest in this at all. Oh!
Knee drop!
Right across the throat.
So, 1985, Pete, we are in the Victoria Hall in Hanley. I did have a look at what was going on in 1985. The miners' strike has just come to an end. The FA bans all English clubs from playing in Europe after the Hazel Stadium disaster as well. Mm-hmm. We've got Live Aid is on. They're doing this when Live Aid, I don't know if it was the same time. Great if it was. EastEnders debuts this year. So,
oh, wow. I didn't realise it was so late. I thought for some reason I thought it was earlier than that, but clearly not. There we go.
No. And the Sinclair C5 is launched as well in 1985. And do you remember what the Sinclair C5 was?
Oh, mate, I was a boy of the 8-bit era. Of course I knew what Sir Clive Sinclair's abhorrent bit of electric mobility was.
It was basically, it looked like it had been designed in retrospect by Apple, didn't it?
Yes,
it has
yeah.
Sort of, but it's like if Apple did a sort of mobility vehicle.
Yeah.
The type of ones that the old men park outside the pubs in rough areas.
If an egg had an idea about something, that's what it would have sort of made. It's like very, very plain looking, smooth vehicle.
Guy who lived over the road from us had a Sinclair C5.
Nice.
And when I was going to school in the morning, I'd quite often see him zipping past me. And it's only years later. He used to work, I think, for IBM in Ealing. And that is the other side of London. So I think he would be doing like at least 90-minute journeys through the North Circular on a Sinclair C5.
They weren't that capacitive, let's say.
They weren't. Or robust.
No.
Not robust at all. Why was there never a wrestler who made an entrance in a Sinclair C5? That's a missed opportunity.
Too expensive.
That's it. Heartbreaking. There's riots going on as well in Handsworth, Brixton on the Broadwater Farm Estate, largely over institutionalised racism in the police force. And over in America, WrestleMania 1. So that's your historical setting.
Nice.
The ring announcer comes out, doesn't he? And he's, again, we don't get men who look like this in Britain anymore.
No.
A really 80s man, a sort of sliver of sort of Keith Harris and Jasper Carrot and Bend Over.
Yeah.
Both of the guys who are in black lace, sort of like mushed into one. And in they come, the two wrestlers. We start off with Kung Fu. You don't feel strongly about Kung Fu?
I thought you were expecting me to pile in there. I mean, he met him punch for punch, but I think he let his opponent pull on his mouth loads, which is very enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to explain. Like, back in the day, back in the 80s, how big the idea of karate, the idea of Kung Fu were to males over 30, they were somehow obsessed with the idea of being into Kung Fu. So seeing like a Kung Fu character, you probably saw quite a few of them in wrestling in the UK at the time. So I don't know why Kung Fu would necessarily stand out.
Well, you do. And that's part of the reason why Kung Fu, who used to be masked, unmasked, And the reason was because he was so popular, this guy, a Northern Irish wrestler by birth called Eddie Hamill. He had donned the mask in 1974, basically because the David Carradine TV show Kung Fu was so big. And he stuck that mask on. And unlike most masked men, he was a good guy, and that had never actually been done in Britain before. Masked men also tended to be absolutely massive, and he was a lightweight. So these two things were quite groundbreaking. He was an immediate, huge success.
Yeah.
But he only stayed under the mask for 2 years. He was unmasked after a match with Kendo Nagasaki in the Royal Albert Hall. And a month later, he was unmasked on television, losing a match to Mick McMahon. And that was on the big show that took place on the same day as the FA Cup final. The reason he was unmasked is because it was so easy to advertise a kung fu.
A kung fu, yeah, because everyone had
come out with the mask and be a kung fu.
Everyone had the clothes. Everyone had a karate. Don't know what you call them. Karate clothes, kimono, gi.
Is gi. It would be your kit, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Have you got your kit? It's in John Lister, who obviously recommended this match, in his excellent book, which is Interviews with the Stars of World of Sport. He interviewed Kung Fu Eddie Hamill, and Eddie Hamill said, "I'd tell any young wrestler starting out today not to wear a mask. Eventually, if you're good enough, people will start to copy you. At one stage, there were at least 4 imposters. Some of them were good wrestlers, like Alan Mike, who was better than I was. I couldn't understand why he felt he had to do it. But other guys weren't so good, and it really hurt me when people would go and see a Kung Fu and leave thinking, that fellow's fucking rubbish." Just great.
Love it.
Eddie Hamill is someone that I'm really pleased that we get to cover, because he sadly died in July of this year at the age of 81. He was a delightful guy, spent most of his adult life living in Rhyl, having come over from Northern Ireland to explore the Welsh scene originally with the promoter Orig Williams, and he liked it so much, enjoyed the work so much, that he stayed in Rhyl for the rest of his life.
Right.
But there's a beautiful interview online with some guy, he's a child, he's about sort of 12 or 13, and he goes round and does a long shoot interview with Kung Fu, who is by that time in his late 70s, and he just seems like a delightful guy. Very, very popular wrestler among the backstage, behind the curtain, if you know what I mean. And Eddie Hamill, Kung Fu, had a favourite opponent, and that was Rocco. And he told John Lister, "I loved working with Rocco. He would knock into you if you were walking down the street, bumping into you. He was so full of energy. Energy was oozing out of him. When you got into the ring with him, he never stopped. From the bell, even before the bell went, he was over. Bang, bang." That was my sort of wrestler. Rocco got in there, you know? And I loved that, because that was my style of wrestling. That's who I'd put down as the best wrestler. Like all great wrestlers, they need good foils. And you just get the impression that Rollerball Rocco is delighted to be doing this with Eddie Hamill. And Rocco, when he comes out in this, you are just like, you're in good hands. He feels like an actual wrestling star. That if you showed this to anyone, you'd just go, oh, well, that guy must have been one of the big stars of his era. And he was, but not enough. Not enough people accept it. He's got a silver jacket, a great big leather gauntlet with studs on it. He's got a kamikaze bandana and a towel. And he gets in, he's straight into Kung Fu's face. Absolutely does it. He then takes off his sort of outer gear, and he's like a Russian doll. You've got an entirely different costume underneath, where he's wearing his world heavy middleweight title belt and his leotard, which is red, white and blue. I've always sort of thought to myself, well, it's a bit like the Stars and Stripes. Yeah. And I was like, well, it's the colours, obviously, the Union Jack, but it just looks like the Puerto Rican flag if you look at it the way it's laid out.
It's like a Speedball Mike Bailey's decided to rebrand himself as El Puerto Rico. And
when he came out, I was like, you've got a lot here. You've got the headband, you've got the gauntlet, you've got the towel, you've got the belt, you've got the silver jacket. And I was like, I think maybe you've over-egged this. But what he does very quickly is go, no, this is my entrance gear. It comes off and now I'm rolling.
Yeah.
Kung Fu immediately gets whipped with the belt to Rollerball Rocco. He gets a headbutt to his nuts. Rocco then gets posted nuts first. He throws a chair in. Kung Fu gets it and whacks it over his head. And you sort of go, they've done everything there in a row that they're not allowed to do on ITV.
Yeah.
So you're giving those live fans something that they wouldn't see week in, week out. And that's your big thing of going, this is our difference. This is our USP. You come and see us. You're not seeing what you see on television. You know, you're seeing something much more thrilling. The commentator, he goes, when I tell you, we've only got a minute of this, there's 20 of these to come. I was really like, good, bring it on. Love it.
Madison Square Gardens was his home for about 5 months of last year, Maxie.
Absolutely correct.
Japan, they loved him over there.
6 months he was in Japan.
6 months in Japan.
Well, he's studying some martial arts and sumo wrestling, which he incorporates in his own particular style of all-in wrestling, which we're witnessing tonight here at the Victoria Hall.
The ring is set up as well. This is, you know, even though Victoria Hall in Hanley is such an iconic British wrestling venue, what they've got is they've got the stage is at one end, and they've had to set the ring up next to the stage in the sort of audience bit.
Yeah.
They obviously, the stage is too high to put it on. And so the stage is slightly higher than the ring canvas. So there's a bit, immediately Rocco just throws Kung Fu out onto the stage. He has to go up a bit. And I was like, oh, this I like.
It almost juts into the ring. And there's a moment where like Rocco so gets flung back into, I mean, the way he gets flung back in the ring takes us to, like, does a complete somersault into the ring. And the ring really bounces. And it's like, oh my God, this is everything at this point should have involved this stupid stage that didn't need to be there.
More levels.
Yeah.
More levels
More
around
stuff.
the ring. Give us a high bit, a really low bit.
Give us a
One
climbing
bit
wall.
that's just the same.
Has there ever been a wrestling match on a climbing wall? They seem quite popular these days.
Yeah. I mean, there's one in the O2, isn't there? And if they'd done the Stadium Stampede, that would have been used. That's the only circumstances in which I can see them being done. How would you do it? You just climb up it and fall off, wouldn't you? That's
There'd
most
have to be something at the top.
wrestling novelty matches. Yeah. I mean, Rocco just hurls Kung Fu into the broadcast table, and he gets the camera wire. He's about to do something with it, but that's when Kung Fu does whip him off the stage and over the top rope into the ring. Oh, that's brilliant. And look, Pete, no one is going to say that this is great wrestling. There is not a huge amount of actual wrestling in this. It is just a tremendous brawl by two guys who just understand how to generate heat. If this hadn't have happened in Britain on a cable network that no one had, I do think that, you know, matches like this people would look back on and go, you know, it was state of the art for its time. God, it's exciting. You know, they were years ahead of their time. They both were years ahead of their time. And it's just, you watch it now and you forget until you put it in a historical context just how amazing this must have looked in 1985. Just astonishing.
There's a lot of sort of grannies helping Kung Fu to his feet as well, which I quite enjoy, which you don't see
Chick
nowadays.
Cullen's mother's gone to pick him up. She's out she comes. Obviously not wised up to the business. I really respect that. One commentator also says that Kung Fu trained for years in Bangkok, and the other one says, well, I'll tell you something, Rocco couldn't give a toss whether he's in Bangkok, Malaysia, or any other cock. He's in here to do it. And I was thinking, that so nearly worked, didn't it? If only the word Malaysia had the word cock in it.
Oh, he's had a
we
nightmare.
really would have done that. There's a line he says, which I love, where he just goes, he's in here to do business and he's not going to be done. And getting done. I haven't heard that. You're going to do him.
No.
Do him, Rocco. Do him.
It's just, at the end they go, and do look out for Cyndi Lauper now. Not a clue what that means. Cyndi Lauper is not mentioned.
What's amazing is I didn't realise this, and because you don't have, if you like, the full episodes, but people have filleted them, they actually throw to a women's match during this show, a women's match from Madison Square Garden between Wendy Richter and Fabulous Moolah, and it's the WWF. They are showing you a WWF match in the middle.
Yeah.
Again, it makes it very confusing as to what this show was. It was both first run British wrestling and also here's some stuff from America. Just a confusing mess of things. It's funny to go as well from like, here's Cyndi Lauper, and 5 minutes before the commentator has watched a sort of knee drop across the throat and he's gone right across the throat, saves doing a gargle.
He's pre-written that.
They do mention the commentators that Rocco has spent the last year working in Madison Square Garden when he was effectively Black Tiger, and in Japan, of course, where he's doing some incredible work with the original Tiger mask. There is going to be another little... I don't normally say this, Pete, but you've got to listen to the end of this episode.
Right.
Because there is going to be a little thing I've discovered which will blow your fucking mind. And... it relates, I think, to the fact that Rocco has come back from Japan recently. We'll get to there.
We've got this beautiful bone china dinner service, which has been presented to Screen Sport to give to the winner. Mark, I want you to take this.
What do I want bone china for?
Well, we're going to give it you because...
The only bones I want is Cullen's bones. He's challenging me for the World Championship. You tell him to come along, and I'll show you what I'll do with his bones.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Well,
by the way, thank you. Thanks a lot. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to give you a little present to take back to Nancy Boy Beasley. I've seen him on the sidelines there. This is a little present.
There are some lovely sort of like bits in it as it goes on. You get a beautiful pin attempt by Kung Fu. It's like a European clutch, but missing some of the steps. That's one for the true heads there. And Rocco just gets the pin after doing a tombstone, an elbow off the top rope, a basic suplex and float over pin, and then it is all over. I felt like the first two, the tombstone and the elbow, were great finishing moves. And then the suplex, I was a bit like, out of the three, I wouldn't have ended with that one. But there we are. I'm not gonna tell Rollerball Rocco how to do his rookie job in 1985. And out come the seconds as well. They've got those great big plastic buckets that you get house paint in, and they've been washed out and filled with water, and you can have a bit of water out of that. There you go. They do go backstage to that interviewer as well. I love the fact that it's obviously quite noisy and he's not used to doing this, whether he's a boxing interviewer, but he sticks his arm around Rocco, and Rocco is brawling and grabbing the trophy that's there and saying, this is going to be mine. And the sort of quite old interviewer just holds on for dear life. He's not going to let go of Rocco. He wants to talk to him. Rocco ignores him, and he's just pulling him around, which I did like. He is one of those wrestlers that when I look at, I just think he could have been a star anywhere in the world, pretty much in any generation. I just wish he'd had the chance to have that big stage, because I just think we'd remember him as one of the greatest of all time. I can't get enough of him. I really can't. When I watch Rocco matches, I actually find myself thinking, this is what it is. This is what I watch wrestling for fun. But if I watch wrestling for total, complete pleasure, it's always stick Rocco on, and I am never, ever, ever going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I did actually, Petey, carry on watching some of the tournament. So the other first match had been between Chick Cullen and Bobby Barnes. And so I typed in Rocco and Chick Cullen, and up came the match. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
And Pete, I started playing it, and let me just say, Pete, there is nothing in wrestling that hasn't been done before. All right? So I sent you a little audio file, which you've not listened to. Is there any chance that you could play this? So this is what happens when the Rollerball Rocco and Chick Cullen match starts.
I think I can. Hang on.
Gentlemen, the final fight of tonight, ready to rumble for you here at the Victoria Hall in Hanley. It's one fall, it's 30 minutes duration. Would you welcome into the ring the British heavy middleweight champion at 5 feet 10 inches and 13 stone 4, the Flying Scotsman, Chick Cullen!
Oh, wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, taking on the Flying Scotsman, would you welcome at 14 stone, 5 feet 10 inches, the world heavy middleweight champion, Marc Rollerball Rocco!
Someone's been to the same record shop as you, Marky Mark.
Marc Rocco has brought back a copy of and he's done exactly what I did, Pete, which was sit down, listen to it, and go, that track is absolutely the one we should use as our theme music.
Yeah.
And he has provided it to Chick Cullen. Chick Cullen's entrance music in Screen Sport in 1985 is what we now commonly refer to as the Wrestle Me theme. I watched that.
Same wrestling brand, Mark.
I have never felt closer to Rollerball Rocco. I could have cried tears of happiness. So there you go. You think you're breaking ground in wrestling.
No,
it's all been done before.
Wrestle me, Mark.
Wrestle me, Peter, and wrestle me, you!
If you head on over to the Patreon now, we've got podcasts, we've got videos, we've got newsletter, we've got access to early ticket thingamajigs. We've all got all kinds of things going on. So head on over there now, patreon.com/WrestleMe.
Do it! In 1987, Pete, it's been confusing so far, but in 1987, the channel was bought by W.H. Smith.
Why are you there getting involved? Oh, God. I'm bearing in mind that this cable system must have just been like internal, like closed circuit television, isn't it? So everything's just, do you want this? Well, if I've got any eye on the future, no, I don't, because it's going to last for like 2 years and then I'm going to get stuck with this cable going to my house.
It's so weird that, like, you know, because the way that history, when you look back, you're like Sky Television. Like, you forget that there were, 6 years before that where people are like, is it going to be a satellite in space, or is it going to be cables, or is it going to be worms that put on shadow plays? No one's got a clue.